morning, and welcome to yet another episode of John Works Too Much. Sometimes you have to ask yourself, why am I talking to myself? All right, so last night I warned everybody in the world, but then I had to retract my statement to only the people where it's actually freezing, to drip your faucets, open up your cabinet doors, take off your hoses and hose bibs and things like that. And I got a lot of questions, and I was like, maybe people don't know this. So let me demonstrate. If you're on an exterior wall, like this one, then you've got a toilet over here, and there's a shut-off valve that's typically on the exterior wall, right? So that has a possibility of freezing, except for the fact that you've got all this air that's in here. But if you've got a sink counter, and that's on the exterior wall, which this one is not, then underneath it could be cold, and you got all the cold wind coming on the outside of the house. So if you open up your cabinet doors, then the heat from the house, you don't have to look in there, but then the heat from the house gets in there and keeps that from freezing, hopefully. And then running water does not freeze, and so if you leave your water dripping just a little bit, it's not that much, just ever so little, right? Then you're good. And the reason why is because you see rivers don't really freeze that often, because if the water's running, then it doesn't freeze. So you drip your faucets, and on the outside, if you got a hose hooked up, then all that water in there can cause it to freeze, so that's a problem too. Anyway, it's gonna be freezing the next several days or the next week or whatever, so don't let your pipes freeze. So this is what we're doing on this job. We're gonna take out this shower surround, tub surround, and we're gonna put in a new tub and a new faucet and a new tile. We're gonna put in a new tile down here. We're gonna put in a new vanity, new sink, countertop, mirror, light fixture. We're gonna take this fur down out. We're gonna add a recessed light right here. We're gonna take this out. This has I think a heated bidet or something like that. So we're gonna add a hot water line for the toilet, which is interesting. We're gonna take this out. We're gonna take this door out, and then we're gonna put a barn door on the outside of that. Then, that's not the only thing. Let's go this way. So, here we're gonna add a door, and then we're gonna take this wall out, take this wall out, most of this wall out, but then there's a closet on the other side. And we're gonna take some of this opening out for this closet to make it a bigger opening. We're gonna put a sliding glass door right here. We're gonna take the fan out and put in recessed lights everywhere. Come on. We'll take this fan out and put recessed lights in here as well, and make this one big room. And then take the window from over there and put that window in over here. Modify this closet, and then out there we're going to enclose a patio and make it a screen and porch. It seems like there's something. Oh, and then we're going to add recessed lights to this big bedroom area here. So that's what we're going to be working on. It'll probably take about 28 minutes to do all that, because we're fast, we know what in the world we're doing. And let's see what we want to do. We need something inspirational. I've got it. All right, so I'm going to tell you guys a story, because I know that you all love stories. This one is about somebody in the Bible, and they found, it's called the Pearl of Great Price. It's very short, okay? This guy goes out in this field, and he finds this pearl of great price, right? So it's very, very, very valuable, but it's in this field, and so it's part of that field. And he realizes how valuable it is, that it's worth more than everything he's got. And so he goes home and sells everything he's got so that he can afford to buy that field, because when he does, then it's got that pearl of great price. So even though it costs him everything, what he gains is so much more. What's the moral to that story? The moral is that salvation is free because Jesus paid the price, but it does cost us everything. But what we lose compared to what we gain pales in comparison. You're like, I sold all my garbage and I came up with $20 to buy this whatever, and after that I got gazillions of dollars. So yes, it will cost you everything. This is not something to be lazy about. Salvation is free, but it's not cheap, but it is 100% worth it. So anyway, we're gonna get started because this work ain't gonna do it itself. All right, bye. So it's been about 28 minutes. As you can clearly tell, we took out the fiberglass tub. It was super simple, and we've already been to the dump and gotten rid of it. We also got all this tub drain ready, so you can see we're gonna tie into this drain right here, and then we'll bring that up and have our drain for that. We took our vanity out, and we're gonna put a new shut-off valve here, and then we're gonna put in a new light. We took out this fur down, which is nice. We took out this over here, which is nice, and and we took out this door, and the floor. So we're gonna go buy some materials. We're about to do our part to end world hunger, just our part, and that means that we're just gonna go get some lunch. And so my question for you today is, Who can you forgive today? I have made a habit, some people find it irritating, but I think it's hilarious, that literally anytime somebody says, I'm sorry, they could like bump into me in the hallway and be like, oh, I'm sorry. I always say immediately, like knee-jerk reaction, I forgive you. Please don't carry that burden any longer. So no matter how dumb or petty it is, like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh man, I'm so sorry about that. I'm like, I forgive you. Don't carry that burden any longer. To the point where when Kanui was working with me, I said, sorry, and he goes, I almost said I forgive you. I'm like, that's a great habit to be in. Definitely forgive people, because you know who it hurts if you don't forgive them? You're the one that doesn't, you hurt yourself. Like, if you forgive somebody, it leads to so much more happiness. So find a way, and I know what you're thinking, but this person hurt me really bad and I can't forgive them. That's the person you need to forgive. So think about that while I go eat lunch. So patience can be a very long lesson to learn. Have you realized that?
Yeah, it's a virtue, as taught by Job.
Yeah, but the problem is, like, I'm okay with patience. I just want to hurry and get there. Yeah, right?
Go. Why am I so tired?
Well, speaking of tired, right? Like, I'm okay with insomnia. I just wish I had it during the daytime. Mm-hmm. All day long, I'm sure you've noticed me like, good morning. I'm coming to you live from Wills Point. I'm bringing you a couple things. First of all, yesterday's weather forecast. Yesterday, it was freaking cold. That's what it was. It was cold. Now, I want to bring you today's traffic. It's god-awful. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, if you can stay inside, stay inside. But now, for my final thing, I want to talk about my class, offensive driving. Let me teach you some lessons here. Okay, this is what I learned today. Normally, I see about 38 car wrecks on my way somewhere. This morning, I saw about 212. So I think the estimated damage to the insurance company is about 362 million this morning alone, and that's just on the way. Here's my traffic report. 20 East, clogged up, like just parking lot. 20 West, also parking lot. 30 East, parking lot. 30 West, also parking lot. 35 North and South, parking lot. 820 North and South, parking lot. 121, basically everything's a parking lot. Don't go outside if you don't have to. All right, so if you're driving along, here's some tips from my offensive driving class. When you come to a bridge, speed up before, and then make sure there's a bunch of cars right there, and then slam on your brakes, especially if there's somebody behind you. And then when you start to skid, then turn your wheel hard, and then turn your wheel hard the other way, and try to hit the cars next to you. It also helps if you're on your phone while you're doing this and not paying attention at all. If you're an Asian woman, definitely be on your phone, okay? Now, I realize that on an average trip, the average woman and child, when they're driving, makes about 3 TikTok videos. My recommendation to you, limit that for the next week, because we're gonna have bad road conditions, to roughly 0 TikTok videos while you're driving. You can make them afterwards, it's gonna be just fine. All right, so really what we're gonna do today is we're gonna finish taking this wall out, because there's lots of nails up here, and we gotta take this out, we gotta do some wiring and whatnot. We're gonna put a patio door in here. I don't remember if we talked about that, but we're gonna put a patio door right here, like a sliding glass door or whatever, and we're gonna take this window and we're gonna put it over there, and then we're gonna put 2 more windows up front. So I don't know how much that we're gonna get done today, because the weather really slowed me up. It took about 15 hours for me to drive out here, and it should be about a 1 hour and 14-minute drive. So we'll see what happens. Nick, you wanna talk about anything?
No,
Literally anything. Just give me any topic. Any topic.
Let's talk about megafauna.
Megafauna.
Yeah, and their impact on today's prehistoric megafauna and their impact on today's hardwoods.
Okay, so this is what I found, is that there's a bunch of megafauna that's frozen up in the Arctic North in the tundra, and because of global warming, which we cannot feel today, but it's real, that the Democrats tell us that. And look, I'm such a Democrat, I'm not gonna lie. I will give you the shirt right off of his back. Like, that's what kind of a Democrat I am. Nevertheless, it is thawing out, and this is releasing the megafauna, the prehistoric megafauna. And so right now, if you look at worldometers.info, you will see the countdown of how much fossil fuel that we have left. And right now it shows about 42 years until we're completely out of fossil fuel. But with that megafauna, I think they can smush it real hard, and then I don't know how you make gas, but they'll just like take it and make it into gasoline. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, when I see a rotting carcass, nobody ever talks about this, okay? There's a lot of faith in science that I think is unfounded. I have never seen or smelt a rotting carcass and been like, gasoline. That looks like petroleum. That looks like motor oil to me. Not one single time have I ever seen, I've seen a lot of rotting carcasses, some of them human. And not one time have I ever been like, I wonder if I could put that in my car. Never. That's not even a real thought. And yet everybody's like, oh yeah, they're dinosaur bones. I'm like, are they? Because if something just falls down dead, it will rot and dry out, and eventually you're like, oh, there's nothing. It just turned to dust, right? I've never seen it turn into gasoline. Maybe I'm the dumb one. That's what I got to say about megafauna. All right, let me get back to work.
Yeah.
Hi there. So we put a beam up here because otherwise, here's what happens. Sometimes you're like, do I want to have a trampoline for a ceiling?
Yes.
And then you just don't put a beam in. And sometimes you're like, do I want to have a trampoline for a ceiling?
No.
And then you put the beam in. So that's how that works. Now, speaking of these debates, Nick and I were having a debate at lunch, and we got our waiter involved, and in fact the manager, I think the owner of
Could have been the owner.
restaurant, yeah.
He had
and
that vibe.
he would not answer our question, which I find offensive. So I want you guys to help us out. We're talking about the word gonorrhea, okay? Now, first of all, I just want to say for the record, anybody that can spell gonorrhea the first time right, you need to like stay out of bed with that person. Just throw that out there. Okay, but I think that if you're in the country of Ghana, and I was just in Africa, so I should know, and you get diarrhea, that's gonorrhea. But Nick...
No, after you get diarrhea, it's gonorrhea.
Because he's saying it's gonorrhea, right? I don't know, is it because after you've had diarrhea, then it's gonorrhea, or is it when you have diarrhea in Ghana that's gonorrhea?
But we didn't, what if you die from it?
Ooh, diarrhea. That's what it is.
Is it when you die from gonorrhea?
When you die from gonorrhea.
Is this diarrhea?
That's diarrhea. Wow. Well, we really need your help on this. Okay, so we're also going to put these cam lights in, right? So you can see where they are here, and here, and here, and here. And a certain someone that will remain nameless was like, is there some kind of a formula to where you put these lights? And the answer is, of course. Yeah, of course there is, right? And so here's the way you figure it out, okay? You guys have your thinking caps on, you got your calculators ready. Here's what you do. Any size room, it doesn't matter. Is it a cracker? Is it a closet? Not a problem. Is it a mall? Also not a problem. 17 cam lights. That's your answer. That's how the government does it, okay? That's because they just remove all common sense from everything, and they're like, everybody's got to be the same. And you're like, well, that's just dumb. So we actually don't do that. So what we did is we just measured this, and it was 100 and whatever it was, 14 inches, and we're like, well, half of that's 57 inches.
Hey,
and,
you wrote it right here.
yeah, 57, and that's this way, and there's also 57 that way. And then from there to the wall, and from there to the wall is another 57, because, you know, it's like half. And then we just did some math. So we're going to string some wire to those lights, and then they're going to work. And I'll show you how they work, because it's kind of interesting. You get this cam light, you cut the hole in there, there's a template. Not in that one. There you go, over there. There's a template that comes in this light, and you trace it. And then you take your sheetrock and you cut it, okay? So then in here, you open that sucker up. These are backstabbers, which are amazing. So then you pop your wire through here. Green is your ground, white is your neutral, black is your hot. You just stab the wire, you strip it back first, stab it in there. When it reaches here, it'll stop. You're good. Stuff all that garbage back in there. Snap it shut. You put this in. It's got these things. And then you put it in the sheetrock. And then once it's above the sheetrock, then you like do this, and you push this up, and it's clamps on the sheetrock. And that's it. Pretty simple. So please don't die of gonorrhea, and please don't gone of diarrhea. No, something like that.
I'm no doctor.
So maybe you're up in an attic and you're thinking to yourself, it's so comfortable, but what could make this worse? Oh, I got it. Let's just take a look here. Sorry, this is hard to move because there's not a lot of room. What's around the corner? Is that spring? Oh no, those are snake skins. That's just, no, sorry, that's just one big long snake skin. Yeah, that's pretty good size. That's probably 22 feet long. Yay! I did it. Good morning. So you might not have known this. It depends on when you're watching this or where you're watching this, but it's freezing cold out here. It's like negative 27 degrees or something like that. And with the wind chill, you can tell the wind's, oh my gosh, it's probably 156 below zero or something. It's Celsius. I don't understand how that works. Anyway, we are going to take out this window right here. And I don't know if you can see this over here, Nick. we're gonna put in this door, the sliding glass door. It's gonna be beautiful. So a lot of you might be afraid and think to yourself things like this. How would I do that? It's terrifying. Well, I'll tell you. Step number A, you wanna measure that door and then cut a hole that size over here.
Measuring once or cutting once?
No, you measure it like a bunch of times, you cut once. Or
okay.
You measure once and cut a bunch of times. Here's what I know.
You're not gonna fool me again.
Yeah, that's, I cut it 3 times, it's still too short. I don't know. Anyway, first we're gonna cut a hole, and then we're gonna put this in that hole. We're gonna put screws in there. We're gonna hold it there. And we're gonna trim it out on both sides. Probably spray foam it too. And then we're gonna take this window out and put it over there. Now, here's a good lesson in life for you. Maybe you're thinking, how can I put this in there without taking that out? You can't. Because sometimes in life you're like, if I want something better, I got to take out the thing that's good enough, right? You got to take out the thing that's good enough so that you have room to put in the thing that's better. And sometimes that means like that's uncomfortable and painful. And maybe you're like, and you start making excuses and bargaining. Don't do that crap. Take out good enough, put in better or best, right? Or take out garbage and put in best. I'm just saying, like, in remodeling and in life, there's a lot of life lessons here. Take out what's garbage, put in what's beautiful. So that sometimes can be painful, and you want to make a bunch of excuses, and you want to lie to yourself and everybody else and be like, oh yeah, well this isn't so bad. And you're like, so what? Just take out the bad thing. Just be honest. Just take out the bad thing and put in the good thing. Not that big of a deal. All right, so that's it. Okay, so as you can tell, we have marked out where our door is going to be. We've got some power in the way, so we have to move that power out of the way. Fortunately, it's right here at the edge, and so that's not going to be too hard. And sometimes you got a helper that's like super smart, that knows way more than you do, and has amazing spiritual insight. Today is one of those days where come on over here, Sienna. Okay, so say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Okay, come on closer so we can see. All right, so we were taking out this wall. Sienna was like, hey, look at them. Sienna was like, hey, can I help take out the wall? I'm like, well, yeah, you're way stronger than me. Show them your muscles. They're pretty, goodness gracious, what are those made out of rocks? She's pretty tough. Okay, so then, as we're taking out the sheetrock, and she was doing all the hard work, and I was doing not very much, then she said, what did you say about the insulation?
Okay, it looks like cotton candy. It looks very tasty, but you can't eat it.
Right, it looks delicious, and it's so, you said tempting, right?
Yeah, it's very tempting.
It's very tempting, but you can't eat it, because why?
Because it has chemicals in it.
And it makes, yeah, not good for you. But it does look tempting.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's like cotton candy.
Yeah, sometimes stuff looks like cotton candy.
Yeah.
And it's tempting, and you're like, ooh, I want to eat that, or consume it, or whatever. And you shouldn't, because it's bad for you, right?
Yeah.
See?
It has chemicals.
It has chemicals. Yeah, you don't want that. There's a lot of things that have chemicals in it. No thanks. Yeah, bad. So anyway, that's we're going to cut this hole and get all the way to the outside of the wall now. But Sienna,
I'm
ladies and
gonna
gentlemen, she can help. She can do all the hard work. Show me your muscles one more time. Goodness gracious. She's tough.
I am a gymnastic. I did went to a gymnastics class,
Yeah.
but then Corona started and now I can't go.
Oh, yet another reason to not like Corona from the mouths of babes.
Yeah.
So we cut the hole. Sienna, come tell them what you did. Tell them how you cut the hole out.
I kicked it.
Do what?
I kicked it.
She kicked it. And then what happened? The whole wall fell out? Yeah, she got a laser beam that she's got in her eyeballs and just and then gave a good karate kick, right? And then, like that. And then the wall came out. Now, here's an important lesson in life. A lot of people will do this. They'll cut the big hole and they're like, and I got the door right there. And then they stop. Is that smart? So would you want this to just be like this, or you think maybe put the door in?
Door.
I think put the door in, right?
It's too cold.
It's very cold. Yeah, this is miserable. And then animals could come in, and rain could come in, these chickens could come in, those dogs. Just think about it. It wouldn't be very secure, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but a lot of people, they're like, oh, we'll cut the hole. We're going to do this. And they have great intentions. They talk about it a lot, but they never actually put the door in. And then they wonder, like, why is my life so miserable? Why is my house so cold and wet? Why are there animals in here, right? Seems kind of dumb. Spiritually speaking, people do that too. Like, hey, I took the first step. And they did. And then they're like, I cut out this hole in my wall. And you're like, that's very good. And then what? And they're like, well, then I'm going to do this. And you're like, when? When are you going to do it? When are you going to stop making excuses and put the door in? When are you going to seal up your house? Spiritually, physically, a real door? Seriously, what in the world are you waiting for? I give you permission. Fix your house and fix your spiritual house. You got anything you want to say?
Subscribe to his channel.
Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. That's perfect. So more people need to do that so that I can make my first penny on YouTube. That would be amazing. Here, you can have this. You're welcome. And like we said, we give you permission to finish your house rather than leave it wide open. Because is it cold?
Tad.
I'm telling you, like, I'm offended. What's the word I'm looking for? This weather is
Persnickety.
persnickety is a good word. Offensive. What's another good word?
Abrasive.
Abrasive. It's bitter. It's bitter cold. And I think if you just left this wide open and maybe your bed was right there, you'd regret it. Right?
Yeah.
Just like I think a lot of people are like, why do I have so many problems in my life? It's everybody else's fault. I'm like, put the door in your house already. Yeah. How hard is that? It's not that hard, right?
It's a couple of hammers is all it takes.
Just 2 hammers. You just hammer, and then you put the door in, and you hammer the door in at the end. That's how it works. If there's one thing I understand, it's
Hammer time?
no, it seemed like there was something I understood. Panther, you got anything? No. So, Nick, tell me about your children's names.
There's Sophie Cymbidium.
Yep.
There's Panther Nicholas.
Yep.
There's Sienna Moonblood.
Mm-hmm.
There's Fox Dwayne Carlos Swallowtail.
Okay.
And then baby is yet to be named.
Soon, though.
Soon.
And then you told me that you can just name your kids.
You can name your kids whatever you want.
whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Name your kids whatever you want. Nobody's gonna stop you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
AEX12. That might be the next one.
who knows, right? You could name your kid Booger or Catfish.
Booger catfish.
Yeah. Or Catfish Booger.
Cat booger fish.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of names that I would probably come up with. You got any other names like that?
No.
No.
Jimmy Dawson.
Jimmy Dawson.
I think you definitely understand what we're talking about. All right. So Panthers 10 and knock knock.
Who's there?
Panther.
Panther who?
Panther, no Panther, I'm going swimming. The end.
The end.
This morning we're grouting, and I'm sure you guys have seen me grout before, it's pretty amazing. You take the grout and you mix it up like a Slurpee. Don't drink it, it's important. And then you mush it in the holes. And then once you do that, you sponge it off just like that. So outside right now, it is a disrespectful 22 degrees. Disrespectful, I'm telling you. But with the wind chill, it feels like it's 21 degrees, maybe even 18. I don't know. When I was driving here this morning, I saw a guy on his motorcycle wearing a surgical mask with a cigarette, like pinching the cigarette through the mask, right there, and breathing the smoke. I could see it black all around, no helmet. I'm like, dude. Okay, no sunglasses, or glasses at all. Mask on, while he's riding a motorcycle by himself, with a cigarette stuck to the mask, black smoke coming out. I'm like, you don't understand safety, do you? It was amusing is what it was. So I wanted to wish you guys a happy BD, or pre-BD, BD Eve, Valentine's Day. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So Nick's over here laughing. It's funny that you're laughing because obviously you're married and you've been with your wife for how long?
For 15 years.
For 15 years, right? In the meantime, I've failed at every single relationship I've ever had in my entire life. Thanks, jerk. And I know you're a very attractive dude, you've got it all together and all that, but some of us are old, fat, ugly, stupid, boring, bald, mean, and short. Some of us maybe don't brush our teeth or know how to wipe properly, and so that becomes an issue. But thanks for rubbing that in, jerk. I'm just kidding, I'm not bitter. All right, so we're gonna grout this stuff. We're gonna grout this stuff. We're gonna grout this stuff. We're gonna put this toilet back in. We're gonna put in a vanity today. We might put in a mirror. We're probably gonna wire a light over here. Scrape this acoustic. That may not happen today. Put in a window over there. Put in 2 windows over there. Do some sheetrock, a little bit of tape in bed, and probably call it a day because I'm lazy as a Saturday. Okay. Hi there. So you might not have noticed this, but it's a little drafty in this area. Not here so much. Not where the windows are. Right here, And here's an important lesson I learned in life, and that is that until the pain is great enough, the change will not occur. And you might be thinking to yourself, Self, what does he mean by that? Well, let me just tell you. If you're on the other side of this wall and you're trying to, I don't know, watch TV or take a nap or literally anything, you'd be like, this weather is disrespectful and it's also painful, and I need to change this, even if it's uncomfortable, because this is more comfortable than the discomfort I'm feeling here. And that's usually what we take, the path of least resistance. So we're gonna do that now. We're gonna put a window in here because it's cold and I wanna get back inside where it's warm and the heater's on. And I used to have ADD, but I'm pretty sure oh, what's that? So it's been about 6 minutes and we got the window in. Nick did all the hard work as usual. We also trimmed the outside of it. We still need to foam and trim the inside, so don't hate. But think about this. If you're an astronaut and you don't end a relationship with, sorry, I just need space, you're just wasting everybody's time. And I'll tell you what really makes me sad. You can't air guitar in outer space because there's no air. I'm sorry, I just need a minute. Perhaps there have been times in your life when you thought to yourself, Self, I've made a mistake. That happens to me all the time. And some people are like, I don't want to tell anybody about that. I'm like, I'll tell you. So we got this beam in and we wrapped it with sheetrock. And I was like, and now to tape in bed. Come on. So my bucket's pretty much empty. And I'm like, I'll just put some of this mud in here. Well, I would, but it's frozen solid. It hurts so bad. It's so cold. If you got like a turkey you need to keep cold, just bring that in here. We got these we got that window in. The sliding out door. This wrapped. That's good. Let's see what else we did today. We're gonna put some lights in here on Monday if it doesn't freeze over. Nick did all the hard work and we got this grout done. It still looks dusty, that's okay. We're gonna put this vanity in, but he's gonna do some cool woodwork over the weekend. And by that I mean Sunday, because I'm gonna be at church and I'm gonna record my friends sing. And then, let's see what we did in here. Anything?
No.
Oh yeah, we put in some windows. Look, there was one window. Now
Let's talk about how corrupt the economy is. Donald Trump is raising taxes. We don't want to pay taxes.
No, we don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
Because our body is a temple and temples don't have to pay taxes, so I shouldn't have to pay taxes either, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I like this.
We want to be rich. We don't want to spend our money.
We want to be rich?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we got a plan for that?
Biden wants all his friends to have money and no one else.
Do you want all your friends to have money?
Yeah.
That's the way he feels.
He smells little girls' hair.
Ooh! But I mean, do they use nice shampoo?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who wouldn't want to sniff it then? Speaking of money and the economy, would you eat a bowl full of hair for $10?
No.
Yes.
You would?
No.
I think I probably got $10. I don't even think I carry anything that small. How about $20? We eat a bowl full of hair for $20.
Wait, I'll do it.
Sure.
That is so gross.
I'll
No,
do
dude, it's horrible. You really should get a higher price first.
I want $20.
$20. Yeah, you can probably use that to buy what, like part of dinner?